Many businesses with a leased premises face a hidden risk that they are often not aware of until lease end. Dilapidations liability arises as a result of the non-compliance with lease clauses. Even if, as a business owner, you have read your lease from beginning to end, do you really understand your liabilities, and in particular, your exposure to dilapidations? I'm Tim Clarke, a director at Harrison Clarke Chartered Surveyors, and in this video, I will be discussing dilapidations and how your business can prepare. Hopefully, you already have a basic understanding of what dilapidations is and how it arises. If not, we have a separate video on this. In a nutshell, however, dilapidations is the process whereby one party to a lease seeks to recover damages from the other due to non-performance of lease obligations. Typically, this is a claim made by a landlord from their tenant. This is very common at lease end, as many leases can be extremely strict about the condition a property must be kept in during the course of the lease, and most leases do not have a fair wear and tear provision. As every lease is different, the best way to minimise dilapidations liability can be very variable. This is where a dilapidations specialist chartered building surveyor comes in. A building surveyor can visit your commercial premises and compare the current condition of the property, as well as any future refurbishment or remodelling plans you might have, against a copy of your lease. They will be able to set out an estimate of the likely landlord claim at lease end, as well as providing provision figure, which is often far less than the landlord's initial claim. Some surveyors might also set out a more aggressive target for settlement, but the actual provision figure is likely to factor in a level of risk of future factors, such as an extremely bullish landlord or your future business plans. With this estimate, they might set out some mitigation strategies, such as advising you to complete works or negotiating a dilapidations settlement. Normally, the surveyor will prepare a high-level schedule of dilapidations, as they would expect your landlord to at lease end. This will provide an assessment of the likely level of the landlord's claim, but this is not the end. Once the schedule is prepared, the surveyor will consider where the landlord's loss truly arises, if any. In doing so, they will consider the type of building and the likely future uses. This will normally provide the third figure, which would be a target cost to deal with dilapidations, where the costs are based on work undertaken or a negotiated settlement. Often this figure can be very low in comparison to the landlord's potential claim, and in rare cases could be limited to the cost of preparation and service of a schedule of dilapidations. The surveyor will then add back in risk factors such as the landlord completing works, or when the target figure is based on a relet to a third party under similar lease terms, which can often reduce landlord's loss. Through sensible consideration of risks, a surveyor will recommend a provision figure which a business should allocate to cover dilapidations costs at lease end. Understanding dilapidations liability is important for two key reasons. The first is that a business can plan their cash flow around lease end. This is particularly important if a business is moving premises, as this is normally already expensive and a further cash squeeze can be an additional source of stress on both business finance and directors' mental health. Secondly, and here's the good part, correct provisioning for dilapidations means that the liability can be offset against profits over the course of the lease, rather than taking a big hit to profits in the year the lease ends. This in turn will help your business to reduce corporation tax liability, which can help to ease cash flow over the course of the lease. In particular, if a lease end is likely to coincide with a business sale, a company might want their profit figure to look healthy in the final year of a lease. If correctly provisioned well in advance, it is possible to use a dilapidations provision report to improve the saleability and maybe even sale value of your business. I do say this with a word of warning though. We are not tax accountants, and you must discuss offsetting accrued dilapidations liability against your corporation tax with your tax accountant. At Harrison Clarke, we have true dilapidations specialists who are intimately acquainted with the dilapidations process and how this interfaces with business as usual. We can discuss the extent of provisioning for your business, especially if you have multiple sites. Our team of experts look forward to receiving your call on 023 81 550051.